Talk with Dr. John is now live. I'm your host, Dr. John DeGarmo, founder and director of the Foster Care Institute. Welcome. It's Tuesday night, February 2nd. Happy Groundhog's Day to all of you. Again, I'm your host, Dr. John DeGarmo, founder and director of the Foster Care Institute, and this is Foster Talk with Dr. John. So glad that you are here with us live. We do it every Tuesday and Thursday night, 7 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It is a time where we come together as foster parents, as adoptive parents, as kinship parents. We come together to help each other out, to give each other support, to answer questions. So if you're first time joining us, welcome. We've been doing this, almost a year now. We started in March of 2020, right when COVID hit. If you're an old timer, you've been with us for a long time, welcome back. So glad you're here. You know, we didn't do it last Thursday night. It was my wife's pre-Eve birthday party. We had my wife and I went to Disney World with a few of our friends, and it was her 50th birthday last Friday night, so that's where I was. Now, if you were here with us a week ago, last Tuesday night, you know we had a special session with superstar celebrity Jen Lilly from Hallmark Channel movies, from Days of Our Lives and General Hospital. She's a foster and adopted mother herself, and she joined us last Tuesday night. She's a dear friend of mine. She joined us last Tuesday night. So Jen, if you're out there tonight, I know you're in Canada filming a movie, but if you're watching tonight, hello, much love to you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. If you missed it, my friends, you can go back and watch it from last Tuesday night. Great episode. Okay, so we have three rules. If you're new, rule number one, go ahead, tag your friends who are foster parents, who are adoptive and kinship parents. Tag them, invite them to join us. Why? Because here's the truth. I was interviewed earlier today, and I was telling them that no one understands a foster parent like, that's right, another foster parent. It's a very different lifestyle. You lead a lifestyle that your friends, your family members, those closest to you, they don't really get it. They really don't understand it. Why? Because when you bring kids in your home who are suffering from trauma and anxiety and depressions and disorders, whatever it might be, and they're home with you 24 hours a day, it's a different lifestyle, to be sure. So tag them, invite them, and come in. Rule number two, get those fingers flying, okay? Ask anything you want these next 30 minutes. Kinship, parenting, adoption, foster care, whatever you need help with, whatever you're struggling with. Is it COVID related? Is it homeschool related? Is it visitations? Is it therapy and counseling? Is it marriage and foster parenting? Is it your bio kids? Whatever it might be, we're here to help you out. And the third rule, my favorite rule. Hey, Beth, so glad you're here this tonight. Betty's here tonight. Pamela's here. I see Jennifer here, Sarah's here. Glad you're here this tonight. Third rule is this. Question, and you think, Dr. John, wait, Dr. John, my hand's up. I can answer it. I've been there. I've done it. You as well. If you've had similar experience, we're going to learn from you. We're going to learn together, because learning never stops, especially when you're a foster parent, because every time a child's placed in your home, it's a brand new experience, right? I know. I've been a foster parent myself almost 20 years now. Over 60 plus children have come through my home. I've had children as young as 27 hours old, and as old as 18 years of age, and everything in between. I've had as many as 11 in the house at the same time. I've had sibling groups of 5. I've had 7 in diapers all at the same time. I've been right where you are, my friend. I've been right there. So I want to learn from you. So how did you handle it? I see that Maxine is here tonight. Welcome, Maxine. And Pamela's here. And I see that Rachel's here. Catherine's here. So glad each of you are here. So again, get those fingers flying. The next 30 minutes, we're going to answer your questions. Hey, what do you need help with? What is the biggest thing you are struggling with as a foster parent? We want to make sure we're able to get the help that you need during these next 30 minutes. Sound good to you? All right. I know a lot of you right now are struggling with the fact that visitations are so different right now during COVID. So different because face sessions they need, the face-to-face visitations. That's kind of hard for the kiddos in your house. Some of you are struggling with right now. There are issues related to adoption or being slow because of COVID. Whatever it might be, we want to make sure we're able to answer your questions tonight, give you the help that you need so you can continue to care for these children in your home who are suffering from issues, suffering from anxiety, suffering from a number of things. Yeah, sure. I've been a foster parent myself. As I said, to 60 plus kids. I've had, I've had in my house. I've had ADHD. I've had children addicted to drugs, in my home. The whole thing. I've been there just like you. And like you, I've experienced feelings of grief and loss as well. There have been times, if you read my books, you know this to be true. There have been times where I've thrown up my hands and thought, wow, I just can't do this anymore. It's so hard. There have been times where I've questioned the system. There have been times where I've been disappointed in the ruling of the judge. There have been times where I've called up the caseworker, the agency, and made a little bit of a nuisance myself, or asked questions. Yeah, sure, that's normal. Hey, Leisha, so glad you're here tonight. Hey, Sarah, glad you're here tonight too. So all those feelings are normal, and if you've experienced it, hey, I've been there myself. Now, so get those fingers flying. What's the number one thing? What's the number one thing right now that you need help with? As glad you're here this tonight. Thank you for joining us. Want to hear your questions. So next week, you guys voted. Hey, I put it to you yesterday, and you voted. This was your response. I asked you what was the next foster care institute training webinar, and you voted. It was close, but it's going to be next week. The one that you chose, it is self-help and self-harm and self-injury. Self-harm and self-injury for children. So look for that brand new Foster Care Institute training webinar next week. Amanda's here. Amanda, welcome. Glad you're here. Amanda says, we took our first placement 11 years old, level 4, and a week later, my great niece was placed with us 2 years old, and since then, our foster daughter is so jealous of everything. Very normal. My bio daughter has more books than she does, as an example. I'm exhausted, no anything we can do about jealousy. Hey, Amanda, that jealousy is very normal to begin with. She's feeling threatened. She doesn't know. She's only been with you. Well, she's probably, I don't know how long she's been with you, but I suspect it's not been very, very long. So it's very normal. And remember, she has issues of trust. She has issues of attachment. She's trying to carve out her own identity in the household, if you will. She's trying to see she's testing you at the same time as well. She wants to see what the boundaries are. Again, this is all normal. Amanda, I would encourage you to watch at the Foster Care Institute. And Amanda, I'm assuming that you're already a special member. I hope that you are, because if you're not, you can't get access to all 55 hours, 60 hours actually, webinars, CEUs, free books, etc. So Amanda, I'm going to suggest you watch the webinar, Foster Children and Biological Children Living in the Same Home. Foster children and biological children living in the same home. Okay, and in that webinar, Amanda, there's lots of strategies, lots of tips that are going to help you help this children, how to help the two of them, actually your whole family, live together, and how to beat, if you will, that jealousy. But again, Amanda, that jealousy she's feeling, it's so very normal, and it should be expected when kids come in your home. She's struggling. This girl is struggling. She's struggling on a number of issues: attachment, trust, boundaries. So it's hard for her, and it's hard for your niece, and it's hard for you as a family. So again, Amanda, check out that webinar, Foster Children and Biological Children. I think that's the title of it, Living Together in the Same Household. I know, Amanda, there's going to be a lot of tips in there that you are going to find very, very helpful indeed. And Amanda, for some reason, and for some crazy reason, Foster Care Institute, I would encourage you to join up tonight, so you can get unlimited access tonight, over 55 hours of online training webinars to keep your house licensed, free ebooks, certificates you can print out, CEUs, and a whole lot more. So I think that's going to help you a lot, Amanda. I really appreciate you asking. Thank you for being here, and thank you for doing what you do for that child. I know that 11-year-old is much better with you in her life. You're making a big difference for her. It's hard, though. Of course it's hard. Hey, there have been times where, I thought, I'm just exhausted. I'm worn out. So that's why we created these webinars. We created these webinars for people like Amanda and people like you out there. We ask every month, what do you want to learn about? And every month you guys respond. And that's why we have this brand new one, self-harm and self-injury for children in foster care. Appreciate you asking, Amanda. Okay, I want to say hello to Matthew. I see Matthew's here tonight. Jennifer. Hey, Jennifer, glad you're here with us as well. This is Foster Talk with Dr. John. I'm your host, Dr. John DeGarmo, founder and director of the Foster Care Institute. Foster parent myself to over 60 plus children through my home, and we're here to answer your questions live, 7 to 7:30. Kelly says, how do we become certified to teach classes for CEUs? You want to teach classes for CEUs, Kelly? Well, that's probably something you need to go through your agency to ask what their requirements are as a foster care instructor, foster parent instructor. You know, every agency, Kelly, great question, by the way, Kelly, appreciate you asking. Every agency has different requirements in that, okay? So if you want to teach other foster parents, other classes, you might ask what their requirements are, okay? You know, agencies across the nation and actually across the globe hire me to come in and train their foster parents and their staff, but, you know, my certification goes way back, you know, doctorate in foster care, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, Amanda, really appreciate you asking. And Amanda, of course, you can keep your license to stay certified here at the Foster Care Institute, where you get unlimited access to over 60 hours of online training webinars, printable certificates with your name, date on them, the whole deal. Kelly, appreciate you asking, and let me know. I'd love to know when you start teaching. And best of luck to you. Thank you for what you're doing, and Kelly, I feel that you're going to do a great job. All right, Foster Talk here with Dr. John. I'm your host, Dr. John DeGarmo, founder, director of the Foster Care Institute. Did you see the article last week? I was being interviewed by an organization, and they talk about the mental health issues, mental health aspects that children are experiencing right now due to COVID. I've been saying for some time now, for a long time, I am far more concerned about the mental health aspects than I am of the virus for children right now. We're seeing a rise in suicide. We're seeing a rise in depression. We're seeing a rise in psychotropic drugs, seeing a rise of antidepressant medications, seeing a rise of child abuse, seeing a rise of neglect, seeing a rise of child predators stalking kids online, all during this time of COVID. That's where my grave concern is. Give me an amen, or give me a thumbs up, or give me a yes, sir, if you agree with that. And if you didn't, check out that article that I was quoted in. Kelly says, gotcha, thanks. We've had over 100 kids and majority teens, so I think we have a lot to offer. Well, good for you, Kelly. Good for you, and thank you for all that you do. I want to say hello to Michelle. Michelle is here tonight. Welcome, Michelle. And Julia's here tonight. Julia, glad you're here. Karen is here too. Gosh, got a lot of great people here tonight. So glad you guys are here this tonight. We're answering your questions live right here, Foster Talk with Dr. John. You know, we weren't here last Thursday. I was at Disney World, but hopefully you saw us last Tuesday night during our special Foster Talk with Dr. John. Lily, of course, the celebrity actress and movie star and foster parent. Hey, Kaylee, so glad you're here tonight with us as well. And Jessica, glad you're here. Hey, get your fingers rolling here. Get your fingers flying. Get those fingers flying. What do you need help with as a foster parent, as a kinship parent, as an adoptive parent? What do you need the most? Because listen, there have been times where I've thrown up my hands and thought, I need help as a foster parent. I can't do this anymore. I need answers. If that's where you're at right now, questions here to give you the support you need and here to provide you the resources that you can continue to have as you care for children in crisis. Hey, last week also I was interviewed by CBS out of New York. Maybe you saw an interview about a terrible, heartbreaking story about a child who was killed in a foster care home. And just a heartbreaking story. Maybe you saw me interviewed in that New York channel. You know, as a foster care expert, as a leading expert in foster care, I'm interviewed all the time. Usually about heartbreaking stories like that. So if you saw that, I'd love to hear what you thought about that as well. Yeah, right now, a lot of foster parents right now are struggling with the fact that visitations, we talked about this a lot here, visitations are online, just like you and me, like we're doing this right here. You know, the kids are not getting their face-to-face, in person, if you will, visitations with their birth parents, and that's hurting reunification. That's hurting attachment, and that hurts you as foster parents sometimes because the anxiety levels of the kids go up. Other foster parents are saying, Dr. John, I don't like doing it. I don't like having visitations via video conference because I feel it's intrusive in my home when the camera is on all the time, the computer screen's on all the time in my home with visitations. So maybe that's something you're struggling with right now. You know, we're back to school. It's after Christmas and kids are back in school many times. And Sometimes kids are at home distance learning. I know that's been a big problem for many of you as well, distance learning or online learning. So many of you don't have the skills to be the teachers for these kids as they're learning at home. So many of you are struggling with the fact that you got to stay at home and help these kids and online, but you have your own job. I know that's hurtful for a lot of you as well. And then, of course, there is the fact that many kids in foster care, maybe it's like yours, are not getting the professional therapy, professional counseling sessions that you need, and you feel like you are the professional therapist and your counselor, and you don't know how to do that. So, yeah. Okay, I see that Minnie is here tonight. Minnie, welcome. Minnie says, I have my kids in foster care. I did everything that the judge asks them to do. Well, I still get my kids at day court. I did 6 months. Minnie, I'm not quite sure of your question. If you want to go ahead and give me a little bit more clarity there, I'd love to be able to answer that for you, okay? There it is right there. I have my kids in foster care. I didn't everything the judge asked them to do. I still get, yeah, Minnie, again, I'm not quite sure what you're asking here. It's a little vague. It's a little unsure. The writing of it makes it a little bit confusing, so I'm not quite sure. If you want to go ahead and maybe retype that, and I'd love to answer your question here. Just help me to better understand, if you would, please. Jessica, welcome. Jessica, glad you're here. Foster Talk with Dr. John. Jessica says, I just got a 6-year-old foster kiddo with autism, having issues with him potting his pants. You mean probably pooing his pants. This is not new for him, but how do I help him stop soiling his pants? Or is that normal for someone with autism? I haven't had an autistic child before. Also, can you give some tips for food? Jessica, I'm so glad you asked. I'm going to point you to 2 foster care webinars, okay? 2 foster care webinars at the Foster Care Institute, okay? There is one, let me go to the website here. There is one on, there's one on eating disorders, okay? Eating disorders. And children in foster care, that is going to be one that's going to be help you with those issues of food. And there is one on, oh, what do we call it? I'm trying to think of what it's called. It's a brand new one. Oh, bedwetting, understanding the conditions and how to best address it. So to begin with, Jessica, it's very normal for children in foster care at that age to soil their pants, put their pants, because of the anxiety they're going through, because of the emotions they don't understand, are overwhelming them. They don't know how to process that. So yeah, that happens. It's happened to me many times, Jessica. So we created a special webinar just recently. I think it maybe was maybe a couple months ago. Bedwetting. You're going to really appreciate that. It's full of so many strategies, Jessica. So many strategies are going to get you through this. And of course, so tips on food. Hey, check out that one on eating disorders as well. So you ask, is it normal for someone with autism? Well, not necessarily. It may not be, but it's certainly something that happens for children in foster care because, first of all, you have to understand, why is this child doing it? What is the anxiety that is leading this child to doing this? There is a reason why this child is soiling his pants at that age. And that's most likely due to some type of anxiety he's feeling. So the very first thing you want to do, Jessica, is to figure out the reason behind this. What is this anxiety that is overwhelming him? And then when you do that, when you're able to figure out what that is, then you can best address it. All right, so check out those 2 webinars there. Jessica, I know you're going to find out. And Jessica, I'm thinking here in my brain, tell me if I'm wrong here, but I think Jessica is be a member of the Foster Care Institute. So if you are, you got unlimited access to all those webinars. And when you're done, Jessica, the best part is download the certificates, print your name on it, print the date on it, print them out. I'm sorry, type your name on it, type your date on it, print them out, sign your name. My name's already on there, and you got an hour each, credit for each one, all right? I hope that helped, Jessica. I'd love to hear what you think, all right, afterwards. I'd love to hear, hopefully you're a member. All right, Cora says, what are your thoughts on the use of melatonin to help a child sleep? Oh, Cora, appreciate you asking. Thank you for asking. Thank you for being here. Cora, if you saw the webinar on sleep anxieties for children in foster care, one of the suggestions we have is melatonin. Absolutely right. There's a number of ways you can help children in foster care who have sleep anxieties. And one of those ways, as Cora just pointed out, is the use of melatonin. Weighted blankets, there's music therapy, there's reading. There's lots of ways you can help, but melatonin is one of them. Many children in foster care experience sleep anxieties when they're placed into a home. And the reason probably should be obvious. They're scared. They're confused. They don't know when they're going to go home again. They're not sure if they did something wrong. They don't know who they don't understand the rules of the foster parents. The foster parents are strangers to them. They're in a new school. The visitations is all very challenging for these kids. So melatonin is something that is one um, solution, if you will. Cora says, I've been very hesitant. Cora, I understand. I understand. I was as well. My wife's a doctor of nutrition. Okay, she has assured me that this is one way you can do it. Now, Cora, if you don't feel comfortable with melatonin, then I would encourage you to check out that webinar, Sleep Anxieties and Children in Foster Care. Okay, and well, about 30 minutes full of solutions for you. And of course, Cora, when you're done, you can print out the certificate and you get an hour's credit. All right. You know, the best thing about these webinars, the best thing about the Foster Care Institute training webinars is 1 hour credit, yet each webinar is about 35 to 40 minutes in length, because who has time to sit down for an hour in front of a computer? I know you can't. That's why we made these webinars for you in this way. All right. Cora says, thank you. I'll look it up. Great, Cora. Hopefully, Cora, you're already a member. If you're not a member, let me know, Cora, and we'll get you the link so you can sign up. Hey, this is Foster Talk with Dr. John. I'm your host, Dr. John DeGarmo, founder, director of the Foster Care Institute. Been a foster parent myself to 60-plus kids. You want to hear about some of those stories? Hey, I will answer anything you ask, any question. There's no question off limits. If you've read my books, if you've seen my TED Talk, if you've seen my webinars, my videos, you know them, that I am very transparent, very open about my own experience as a foster parent, and I'd love to share some of those with you. So any questions off is a great question. Then he says, I have my kids in the foster care, and the judge, and I did everything the judges asked me. I only did 6 months, and I am to have my kids in the system. It's hard for me to know if we'll get kids the next court date. You know, Minnie, thank you for joining us tonight. It's hard to say, you know, Minnie. I don't know why your children are placed in foster care. I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully you're getting the help that you need. Minnie, I'm sure your children are placed in a very, very safe environment, very safe with loving foster parents. Every child that comes to my home, Minnie, there's no label. There's no biological, adoptive, or foster. These are all my children, and I love them as deeply as I can, unconditional love. So I'm sure your kids are getting the same thing. I don't have the answers for you in that regard. You might want to reach out to your caseworker and ask, but know this, Minnie, that many times is up to the judge. All right. Stacy says, can you drop your link or stack or stat or Stace? I'm not quite sure what that is there. Wants to know if I can drop a link for the webinars. Yeah, I'll do that right now. Okay. I'll do that right now. So let me just pull it up here. And I'm going here and bingo, bango. I've copied it. I'm going back to here. And Stace Marine, Steak Marine, Stace Marine, not quite sure what it is. But I just sent it to you right there. Okay, great. And that'll give you unlimited access, okay, to over 55 hours of online training webinars, CEUs, printable certificates, 11 free ebooks. We added 2 free ebooks last month, and more for 12 months. Jessica says, is there a cost to become a member of the Foster Care Institute? Jessica, there is a cost, and Jessica, you're going to be surprised at how low and cheap the price is. It's less than $50. So less than $50, you have access to, well, right next month will be 60 webinars. So we'll say 60 hours of online training webinars, which is about 85 cents per webinar. Incredible, right? Print out the certificates, get the CEUs, licensing hours you need all year long for this year and part of next year. It's 12 months. And those 11 free ebooks as well. So yeah, Jessica, there's a very, very inexpensive price. I can promise you, Jessica, you cannot beat the price. I promise you. Jessica, I just sent you a link as well, so you can sign up tonight and get the access you need. You know, so we have a brand new webinar coming out next week. You guys voted for it. Self-harm and self-injury for children in foster care. Some of our brand new webinars include the bedwetting one, include post-adoption depression, including bullying in children in foster care, part 1 and part 2. Let's see, what are some of our other ones? Kinship care was last month. Mandated reporting is one of our broad ones. Post-adoption depression syndrome, positive parenting solutions. You know, that's something interesting about post-adoption depression syndrome. Did you know this? 65%, I did not know this until I did the research, 65% of adoptive mothers, think about that, experience post-adoption depression syndrome. Let me repeat that for you. 65% of adoptive mothers experience post-adoption depression syndrome. It's pretty startling to think about that. So it's very, very common indeed. Listen, I've adopted 3 children from foster care. I've experienced 4 failed adoptions. I know how hard it is when adoptions do not go right. And even if they do go right, post-adoption depression is very normal, not only for the children, but for the parents as well, the adoptive parents as well. All right, hey, got about 5 more minutes left. 5 more minutes left. I want to make sure we get your question answered, okay? So whatever you need, get those fingers flying. Let us know what you need. 5 more minutes. This is Foster Talk with Dr. John, giving you the answers that you need as you care for children in your home. And listen, it's hard. It is hard. I was telling someone today, a journalist today out of South Carolina, it is hard being a foster parent, especially during this era of COVID. Agencies really are struggling to retain good foster parents like yourself. So, yeah, it's hard. So, I want to let you know that I struggle too. I struggle as well. There are times where I think I'm just so tired. I'm exhausted. So we want to make sure we're able to answer questions. So what do you need help with right now? What is the number one thing that you're saying? Hey, Dr. John, would you please help me? I just need help with this, whatever it might be. Okay, and we're going to be able to make sure we get your questions answered there. Only a few more minutes left there. Hey, look for a brand new blog coming out. Right now I'm doing the editorials. I've been asked to write the editorials for the magazine Foster Focus magazine. So for the next 6 months, I'm going to be writing the editorials. Big honor for me. I'm really excited about doing that. I just finished up my new editorial, my first editorial for the magazine today. And we talked about reform and, reform in foster care reform. Talked a lot about it. So look for that hopefully next month in the magazine, Foster Focus magazine. Hey, let me ask you a question. In 2021, what has been the hardest part for you as a foster parent this year so far? These first 5 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, whatever it might be, what's been the hardest part for you as a foster parent? Jessica says, thank you, Jessica. My pleasure, Jessica. I know you're going to love those webinars. I know you're going to love being a member, and you can get access tonight. And a brand new one comes out next week, self-harm and self-injury for foster parents. That'll be webinar number 60, I believe. What has been the hardest part for you this year as a foster parent? Sadie says, how long till adoption date when TPR has been determined? We just got a call for 2 little boys. They are at another foster home now. Great question, Sadie. Thank you for asking. Thank you for being here with us tonight on Foster Talk with Dr. John. Listen, I've said this time and time again. Every state is different in regards to that rule. Every agency is different. And before COVID, Sadie, the rules were different than they are today. Because COVID has thrown out all the rules out the window, Sadie. So what might be the normal TPR date, an adoption date before COVID, is going to be different than it is during COVID. And that's because of this, 2 reasons. Caseworkers are under-resourced, understaffed right now, agencies are, and court systems are understaffed right now. So many people are staying home. That means the wheels of progress, so to speak, are going so very slowly right there. See how did I say so very slowly right now? And no one really knows how long it's going to take. And a lot of agencies last year, about October, said no more adoptions for the rest of the year because of COVID. Hopefully, your state is not experiencing that right now. Hopefully, and I don't know what state you're in, Sadie. And again, I don't know every state's policy in regards to adoption during COVID. Okay, Sadie, I wish I could give you a much better answer. I wish I could. That's not a very good answer. I wish I could tell you exactly what you need. But unfortunately, COVID has changed all the rules. Stacey Marie says, thank you, Dr. John. Hey, my pleasure. Glad you asked. Glad you're here. Hey, maybe we can get one more question. If you can squeeze in one more question here, we'll try to answer. This is Foster Talk with Dr. John. I'm your. Oh, hey, I didn't mention this. Silly goose, silly goose, silly goose. I forgot. I'm so sorry. If you do not get the Foster Care Institute newsletter, I want to make sure you get it. It's free. The newest one came out today. The Foster Care News of the Week, the Foster Care Video 101 Video Tip, the Foster Care Webinar of the Week, the Foster Care Motivational Moment. On Fridays, we have the Foster Care Tip of the Week. On the Video Tip of the Week, we have the Words of Inspiration, and so much more. It's absolutely free. Over 10,000 parents, foster parents, get it. And over 10,000 parents are foster parents are in the webinar. They get the webinars. But hey, if you want the newsletter, type in I want newsletter, your email address. I want newsletter, put your email address. We'll make sure you get the newest newsletter. I'm so sorry, the newest newsletter tonight. All right, so put in I want newsletter and put your email address, and we'll get it for you tonight. Jessica says, Dr. John, I just started a foster care in closet. Is it okay to put the institute address on my webpage? Thank you for asking, Jessica. Absolutely, you can. Please do. Please do. In my book, The Church in Foster Care, got some signed copies down there. The Church in Foster Care, we talk a lot about foster care closets. Jessica, I'll tell you this. I had done a lot of fundraising for foster care closets as a keynote speaker. The last one we did, we raised $65,000. Jessica, if you're interested in getting help raising money for your foster care closet, let me know. I love foster care clothes closet. I think they're fantastic. So Jessica, I want to thank you for what you do there. Again, if you want the newsletter, type in I want newsletter, put your email address. We'll send you tonight the Foster Care Institute newsletter full of information that you need as a foster parent. Roseanne wants a newsletter. We'll get that newsletter to you tonight. Look for it in the next 15 minutes, okay? Hey, I appreciate everybody being here tonight. This has been Foster Talk with Dr. John. I'm glad you spent your last 30 minutes with us tonight. I appreciate you being here. Jessica says, I think the inability to have children in sports or activities due to COVID. It's been hard, that's for sure, Jessica. Tanikia wants a newsletter. We will get that to you tonight as well. Thank you for asking. Look for that in a few short moments. Hey, we're going to do it again Thursday night. And 2 nights from now, Thursday, 7 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to answer your questions. So get your questions ready. We will answer them Thursday night. Look for the newsletter tonight. If you sign up for it tonight, we'll send it out to you tonight. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. Tell your friends to be here. Jessica, we'll get that newsletter to you tonight as well. Thank you for asking that. Hey, for the Foster Care Institute, thank you for caring for children in need. I'm so grateful for you. For the Foster Care Institute, I'm Dr. John DeGarmo. This has been Foster Talk with Dr. John. We'll see you Thursday night. Goodbye, my friend.